Yeah, I'm a little bit curious where this ends up going because, like you said, into the Witch Doctor lane, it is pretty rough. But yeah, like I do like the counter play potential with like the Doom Ags into the Enigma. I feel like that honestly, I was like a believer in the Doom Ags when it first came out. I was like, man, this is such a cool idea, really cool concept. And then you try it, and you're like, man, this Ag sucks. You're like, this
Well,
Ag
it's like,
is really
yeah.
bad. It's really bad. You still you like I think there's maybe one scenario out of 1,000 use cases that you would actually doom yourself on Doom. Um,
Yeah,
I think
and it is
that's like the
different.
biggest misconception on the hero is like when you do build the Ags, you still should be dooming an enemy hero. It just creates the AoE around them still, but
Mhm.
I see people constantly get Ags and they like doom themselves and run in, and then the enemy team's like, all right, I'm just gonna force staff away. See you later.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, especially in pro games as well, all the supports have good items. Maybe
Yeah,
in the pubs where nobody has a great item, it sucks, but that's where you can just walk away. And I think that's something that this bristleback is going to be very adept at doing.
yep,
But at the same time, you can't just doom him.
yeah.
You
You can
can't
just
just
doom the
put him on the
bristleback.
sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can just ignore him, or you can look for something else. Not to mention, with the Winter Wyvern picked up, you got a little bit of counterplay. I think picking the Bristleback into the Wyvern is a little bit interesting, just because you do have a little bit of a problem to deal with. You cannot get through Cold Embrace. You need a little bit of magic damage now, and that's also a little bit strange. Jug is banned out, assuming that I guess they would swap their lanes around, but I feel like that'd be a left hook. That's a little bit strange.
Yeah, I can't imagine that this bristleback is anything but the safe lane. I mean, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they've been doing some weird stuff in the mid lane here for Wolf Team, but I don't think I've seen a bristleback mid or in a long time. Like I mean, realistically, looking at their lanes and their role picks here, it's either Enigma or like four with a Marcy mid and a Bristle off lane, or it's bristleback mid, which neither of those sound good.
Yeah, and the HFN hate just kind of continues with the Medusa ban. And yeah, like you said, the last person I remember seeing playing mid bristle was like Bryle for a while back when Soul Ring was like 600 gold. So the hero
Yeah,
just felt like a lot better because you have that much more region getting poured into you. But yeah, it would really be different. Especially, maybe it is just to give that Doom a little bit more flexibility in the lane. And of course, Ravens don't have last pick, so it could be them just saying, okay, if we do want to put the Doom there, then we can, coming with our last pickup. But at the same time, yeah, it is different. I think Ravens do need a mid. I don't think we're going to see them maybe shift the Visage over there and then have all of their lanes swap around. But it also feels like Ravens might want to carry. It's a very odd position to be in, even though I think with Wolf Team's bans, they're kind of just checking the boxes right now to cover the Bristleback, because usually we don't get to see Bristleback picked up this late.
yeah. I'm curious to see what they do to wrap this one up. Like this has got to be okay. It is. It is going to be the mid lane Lena. Okay, so this makes sense to me. But that means we're looking at a safe lane Visage, right?
Honestly, knowing Ravens, it could be a Dawnbreaker safe lane
Yeah,
as
it could
far
be.
as
That's
I
what.
know.
Okay, yeah, either Dawnbreaker or Visage, but that's like the only two options here, right? So if you're Wolf Team, don't you just pick a mid lane hero that can beat Lena? Like I guess Lena's not a very easily beaten mid lane.
No, it's pretty tough, and there's a lot of lineups that you have to now draft into a loss almost, I think, versus the Lena. Because let's say you pick a hero like Queen of Pain, you're not going to have that much time. And Zeus, okay,
Okay,
not
just
a bad
raw
pick in the
damage
slightest.
doesn't really win
Yeah.
or lose the lane.
Yeah,
I
no,
like that
and
pick. It's pretty good.
yeah, it's really good as well versus, I think, Winter Wyvern. The save is not really gonna happen. Not to mention, versus Lena, if you stay around in a fight too long and you don't have, natural buildup into items like Satanic, you get hit by all of the Zeus spells or even just close to the Zeus spells before your BKB. Popping your BKB with 800 HP is not gonna necessarily save you in a lot of situations, especially because there's a Bristleback running around who's
Yeah,
just gonna look to close that distance and then just kind of kill you straight up. That is also, though, where Ravens have this really sick collapse where they have both the Visage Birds, and then you put the Dawnbreaker ult on top of it, and then any grab from Kara Dismar, and then suddenly your Zeus is really scared. And unless you're tossing him out with King RD, I feel like that's a situation that Ravens could probably pretty consistently get here. But No, this is an extremely close draft. I think both sides have a lot of things going for them, and of course, with heroes like the Enigma, you can salvage pretty much any team fight, any draft with those types of spells.
All right. Well, excited to see what we end up getting out here. Ravens versus Wolf team, obviously coming off of a high of yesterday. Both teams taking the 2-0 over their opponents. So for those of you who didn't tune in, you missed some exciting Dota. Specifically, Wolf team's games yesterday were absolutely bonkers. So I actually am really excited for what we have lined up here today to see which of these teams coming out ahead, starting off this Pro Series right. Maybe we get a 1-1 and they end up pretty even. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one for sure. Dad
One
Dawnbreaker.
would be ideal. One would
Yeah,
be ideal, right?
that'd be fun for
Give
sure.
some more hype coming into the next set, but we'll see. I'm just glad Lone Druid's banned, honestly. That hero was utilized a little too well the other day. A dirty hero for sure.
All right, all right. Into the game we finally go. All right.
Now, you gotta love the one player that always waits to the end of the picking to get their hero selected, you know, just to make sure they're sure.
Yeah, right. I'm like, wow, I feel like that took a while to get actually started on the game, but that makes sense.
See, I'll be 100% honest. The only reason I know that is because I'm that player. I'm the one that doesn't lock. I want the game to lock me in, you know? I don't want to have to press the button, you know? It's a little too committal.
You feel responsible, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you end up having like a bad game, they can look and be like, well, you picked this hero, but if you didn't actually pick the hero, you know, pretty sick. You can get away with it.
And here we go. Ward already been placed, and they got the high ground ward. They were able to sneak it up there. So they've got full vision of HFN and King RD right now on the low ground, but I think this should mean that the ward's actually not going to get taken out in the typical fashion we usually see. King RD's, you know, he's trying to do the thing, but
He's trying to bait
some words.
Yeah, he's trying to bait it like he has vision of the Marcy there, even though he didn't. Just so he can try and get bait the sentry into the mid lane. And Doom, ooh, 50-50 ends up losing it. I hate to see it.
Yeah, tried his best. Dismar was just standing there, kind of being the vanguard for that right side, but never came to fruition. So we'll see. A lot of mid laners, I'll be honest, once they do get one sentry on the other side, they're like, okay, well, it's got to be on the other side, and it's an easy 100 gold. But that's where we'll have to see. Because Nengoflo, he actually doesn't have a stick on this Lina. He's really just kind of aiming for that bottle rush. But that's a little bit different. I feel like that's kind of a mistake, we'll be honest.
Yeah, especially against the Zeus, right? Mid lane Zeus, you pretty much always go the Arc Lightning build, and this like single stick would give you like hundreds of mana over the course of the lane stage to play with. So
yeah,
a little bit interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a little weird for sure, but we'll have to see because this is like I think the most drawable lane in almost all of Dota. I mean, Zeus X any hero is pretty bad, but Zeus X Lina should just be endless farming.
Yeah, right. Like neither of them really have kill threat on the other. You pretty much have to make a mistake, right?
Yeah, the only time we could see a kill in that mid lane is whenever 4 or 5 dies and then they TP in, fill the bottle, and then they maybe go for a kill attempt. But aside from that, it should really never happen.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the support lineup, right? And you have Wyvern Doom on the side of Ravens. Neither of these heroes exceptionally good at catching a Zeus. And then on the side of Wolf Team, you have a Marcy, right? Which is probably the only hero this game who can probably offer that kill threat into the mid side. Like Lina, obviously, if she gets jumped on top of, they might be able to blow her up, but Zeus should feel pretty free.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where Wolf Team have such good kind of jump and kind of reaction, but it's where Ravens have almost just as good TP reactions, where once you throw Kara into the mix, if you're out of mana, you just won't die. You'll just simply cold embrace you, and then everybody walks away, and you get that reset coming forward. But that's where I think dragging heroes out of this bottom lane is going to be pretty important. Tavo's just going to AFK farm on Enigma, just do pretty basic stuff, but that should free up both Kara and King RD to make those rotations, especially for those runes.
Man, HFN is just getting absolutely bullied in the mid lane, but did get his bottle delivered, so gonna be able to get that regen back up. But I mean, good placements are like positioning rather on the Lina to just try and make sure that anytime Zeus wants to get these last hits, he's taking a decent chunk of damage, not just from the right clicks, but also that Dragon Slave.
No, it's one of those heroes that I think it doesn't have like an infinite skill cap, but it's always the little things that show you who is really great at a very basic hero. I feel like the simpler a hero is, the more nuance there is to it.
All right, so the safe lane Dawnbreaker. We haven't really talked too much about this. Obviously, we know this hero does a lot of damage. Like, that hasn't changed when it comes to the Dawnbreaker. Her damage was pretty much unadjusted. Do you think it has the damage to, like, go toe-to-toe with the Bristleback?
I'll be honest, if Dad can get some anti-armor, if we see him, like, turn around for a Deso, then 100%. I think he could do it. But if he's not playing for that, if we see him go for maybe a slower build-up, trying to maybe rush BKB just to feel useful in the mid-game, I feel like you could have some pretty big problems. It's one of those issues where Bristleback always goes for the greedy build and just always gets away with it because that hero is so uniquely good at taking the stacks and accelerating forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay? Ooh, Malefice actually going to stop that clear of those Eidolons. And they're going to try and turn around, but King RD taking a ton of damage here. But the trade, the Eidolon's just doing way too much. And Tavo's the one who walks away with the first blood here. I mean, that's big. Like, you got to respect the Malefice. One of the things with Dawnbreaker, obviously, is like, if you have anything in lane that can stop Starbreaker, you can probably just bully her in the lane. But that's rough. Top lane of trade.
No, pretty boring. Just both supports end up getting tapped for both their mana and their HP, so they just die. Probably going to refill the mid bottom. I can only imagine that that's what's going to happen in a sec here, but that's also where you don't really care dying in the Visage lane because you get Ben just the solo XP. Couldn't care less.
All right, well, Witch Doctor actually goes top, and Lena's still got 2 bottle charges to work with, so looks like supports will just return to their lanes. Back on the Dawnbreaker, though, I kind of agree with you. I think the only other build we see people go on Dawnbreaker is like that Echo Saber pretty early after the phase boots and stuff, but it is definitely a Deso game. If there was a Deso game, this is definitely it. So I hope Dad does end up just rushing that Deso into like Shard, Blink, BKB, something along those lines, just to play super aggressive, but we'll see what he ends up doing.
Yeah, and you do get to a point on Dawnbreaker where you do just become unkillable. You just end up doing so much damage, but yeah, top.
Dismar is experiencing firsthand what this Bristleback can do. I mean, he just walks at him in lane with his nasal goo, and Doom, not a particularly fast hero to begin with, so.
Well, and that's why they made Dismar into the forward Doom, because if that was your offlaner, Benjaz would be more upset, but at least you're just kind of the throwaway hero in this game, but not as pretty as Dismar's Tiny that we got to see yesterday. He's not going to have nearly as easy of a time doing his role.
That's so true. It is a Doom, right? You always have that Devour at some point that's going to give you that net worth, but especially with the recent change to it where if you die, you don't lose it. Mid lane, though, big rotation from both teams. Lena's going to be the first one to go down, and Dismar, he just respawned. Gives up his life again, this time to the Thunder God's Wrath, and that was an arcane rune, so that's going to be back up off cooldown here pretty quick.
Yeah, they just all collapse on that top rune. Fortunately for HFN, he just gets to walk away and bottle it, and I think that was just making the best of a worse situation. At least Nungofo got the return kill on the Marcy, but otherwise, pretty sad stuff there for the Lina. Just got completely kind of crunched and collapsed in on there, and Kara didn't want to TP, didn't want to be in there, and he just TP back in.
Oh, no.
Well...
He actually saw this TP too. This has to be a mistake. Like, he has the ward on the high ground there that sees the Marcy coming.
And then they immediately lose the ward to the sentry, and now, yeah, your Lena's game is not ruined, but definitely doesn't feel very nice. And I mean, HFN is just gonna get what, 6 waves or something like that for free now. I don't know. It doesn't feel nice in the slightest. And now HFN. 30 seconds, and then it's time to go again with that Thunder Gods.
Yeah, exactly. That came off cooldown so quick. He actually doesn't have a single point in the lightning bolt yet, which I think we've seen a lot of core Zeus's go like 0 or 4-0-4 out of the mid lane. We're gonna get the D ward there. KJ's gonna figure that one out. But yeah, a little bit of a gold lead here for the side of Wolf Team. Not anything super substantial, but bottom lane, the black hole comes out from Tavo. It doesn't actually have the damage to finish off Dad's Dawnbreaker, but RD is still here chasing. There's going to be the Malefice, and one more auto attack from the Enigma will find that kill. Dismar rotating in here on the Doom. Kara does have a Splinter's Blast, but doesn't get in. I mean, wait a minute. He did have the range, but maybe didn't think he'd actually connect on it.
Yeah, didn't have a ward in the lane either, so probably couldn't get the cast off, or rather wasn't confident enough to get it on the Marcy. At least they're getting an exchange going on the other side. Nengulfo finally got the punish. They got the D ward whenever they were fighting over that stack, so just finally punishing the Witch Doctor playing up on his own hill. But yeah, first black hole ends up being successful, and I feel like now you're gonna want to see Dad make something happen with this Solar Guardian. They have the birds. I think this is where it might be time for Benjaz to make that rotation over to the mid lane, but even then, I feel like it's a big risk. This is the best time, though. You know at least where 2 of the 5 heroes are. You just got the TP going, but Kara goes down. Dad might get the return, though.
He should. Yeah, he does get it. That's going to be level 6, of course, so use the Solar Guardian to heal himself back up a little bit, force Tavo into a little bit of an awkward position. Celestial Hammer off cooldown now. The chase continues, and no Malefice. He's going to get the burn, but the Thunder God's Wrath to return the favor. Now, Dad gets a lot of gold and XP from these, as he did get both kills first, so not the end of the world there for the Dawnbreaker, which she actually did queue up the Echo Saber into Deso.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower, but it should feel pretty nice, at least when it comes to killing off some of these supports, and especially the Enigma pre-BKB. As mid, I mean, this game just keeps going, and it's the same support rotation that's just going to work. He's going to get the trade maybe on the KJ, yeah, with Dismar showing up, but it's not pretty.
Man, they are just doing so much damage here, and King RD, he's level 6 here, just before that 10-minute mark, and you can never underestimate the Marcy's output on that damage, especially with 3 points in the sidekick. So, they need to be a little bit careful here. We do see Dad on this Dawnbreaker. He's back into the mid lane. They're pinging out the Zeus. They'd love to get this kill, but it is just so difficult with Heavenly Jump.
Yeah, not to mention, of course, and we know it, they might not know it, but King RD hiding in the wings. I think he does eventually get scouted out by that ward, but wouldn't be a good situation for them. And that second arcane rune of the game for the Zeus, just already having that river control. And King RD, he's still here. They're looking for any type of pullback, but getting out very quickly. Very appropriate reaction.
Man, they cannot find the ward on the high ground. There it is. They're like, it's here somewhere. They have had vision of us for too long. And he finally gets it. All right. Bottom lane. Tavo positioned very aggressively here. He's going to get the tower. Kara coming in. Dismar with the Doom, though. So these supports going to find themselves a very nice kill. Maybe he can get the deny. He's going to try. Oh, my God.
No.
This guy's too good.
I mean, it's just a tragedy. That's just you're omniscient. You buy the tome, you get Doom finally after 10 hard minutes of a game where you haven't really been able to do much, and that happens. I mean, it just kind of sucks. At least Nengulfo was able to get the return. It was a really long bait that they were playing on the Dawnbreaker, and I think Nengulfo eventually is going to get the Witch Doctor there. Lance of Pursuit's pretty sick on Lena, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, dang, dude, this thing owns.
I mean, 15 damage from behind. We saw yesterday, Nico kept the Lance of Pursuit in the entire game on Ember's Spirit, so maybe this item's a little crazy. I don't know.
Whoa, I actually never knew it did extra damage. I thought it was just the mana and slow.
Yeah, 15 more damage from behind. It's almost like it's Ricky. I think I've seen this spell before.
It's almost, it looks, you know, honestly, a lot of people may not even notice because that hero hasn't been played in the last 11 years of Dota 2, but it is his backstab animation. It's weird. They figured since the hero has not played at all, they had to use the animation somewhere, get some use out of it.
No, and very interestingly, HFN not going for the Axe Rush, not going for the Aether Lens, not even going for a Kaya. He's got a Midas on Zeus, and they're going for the play mid.
Yeah, they are. They actually didn't drop Maldic. This was just straight Death Ward, and the return onto the Marcia. She just burns down under the 2 supports. And now KJ needs to be a little bit careful.
Oh, they should be able to just walk this one out, but there is the threat of that black hole still in Tavo. He's not showing bottom. If he had Eidolons in that lane, then they would know something's up, but Nengoflo is actually placing himself in between the Wolf team lineup. This is a little bit scary if they know he TP's down there, but that's where they're just bringing that focus back into the mid tower.
Yeah, they really want to bring this one down, and KJ obviously no Death Ward, but it's coming off cooldown here in about 20 seconds. Not too bad. Tavo does have Black Hole with the Wraith Pact completed as well. KRD goes in once again, trying to find his target. Throws Dismar in on the Doom. It's coming off cooldown in 1 second. There's going to be the Winner's Curse with the Eidolons. Oh boy. KRD goes down again. And on the backside, it is going to be Nengoflo trying to chase after KJ here on the Witch Doctor, and they get him. HFN has that heavenly jump. He's going to make it on down to the low ground, and I just realized this guy has a Midas.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. We'll have to see if that ends up giving him what he wants, but that fight, both fights, honestly, were just completely carried by Kara there. Just the perfect cold embrace, both times saving the Maledict target, making that jump really kind of turn into an overextension. And then you look at what's happened. Dismar has a blink now. There you go, your 4 Doom. God, love Doom. You can do nothing for the entire game. You could feel like you're struggling to do anything, but Devour still is Devour.
Absolutely. Like I said, even if you die now, you still get the gold, so it's value.
Look,
Top lane, they're looking for the Bristleback. There it is. The Doom comes out, plus all of the heroes surrounding him, and they'll finally bring down the Bristleback. And that's a big one. Top net worth hero of the game so far. The gold bounty actually going the way of the Doom, but this should open up that top tower now. It's going to be pretty difficult for the side of Wolf team to defend. They've still got their eyes set on mid, though. Tavo's here. He's got these Eidolons. They're smoking up into the triangle. RD and KJ now just walking towards top. Is this going to be good enough? Should they do this?
Oh, I think they... Yeah, it's time to turn around. They need to play on the high ground. They can maybe try and exist with that ward, and now they do know that the Lena's TPing away, but this is still a very scary position. But they found Kara. They just lanced him with the daytime vision. They try to get the curse.
Another cold or winter's curse. This time onto the Zeus. He's dead. Oh my... Dude. Kara is gaming all over them right now. They trade for the Enigma as well.
Oh, this is so bad. And then they lose their engine. And now, okay, Bristol's back. He's angry. He's in mid. But I feel like there's not enough damage with the Wraith Pact. Yeah. They have to get another Maledict, and it's not working. And they
he doesn't have the Axe yet either. Yeah, KJ comes in, just gets absolutely clapped. Okay, Ravens. Okay, I'm just gonna say, Wyvern has absolutely dismantled the side of Wolf team with like his plays over the last like several minutes, because every single time they have tried to make a gank, it has turned into a Winter's Curse killing another, like an important hero in these fights. This time the Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, it's super surprising as well. You don't expect it to do that much damage, but with the Wraith Pact and with the Eidolons,
yeah,
this is Tavo's spike, you know? They're just using the Enigma against them, and then the Zeus goes down, and then suddenly you have no damage for anything. And then you're pretty much all in on the Marcia, and Tavo's not going to go for a Black Hole, because he knows if he gets too close, it's just going to immediately get countered by either a Bird or a Dawnbreaker ulti. This is just becoming a little bit of a tough situation to be in. They're still going to farm fantastically. I mean, they've got a Midas on Zeus, and they've got a Bristleback farming Ancients, but I think Wolf Team need to kind of check themselves here.
There's a really interesting interaction with Winter's Curse and Visage. If the birds are like inside the Winter's Curse, they can still stone form. So like,
yes, with
if you like
button.
Winter's Curse the Visage or something, or like any hero on the Visage team, you can still stone form the birds, despite the fact that they're like silenced and stunned. And then it just like stuns your team and you don't have to worry about it. Oh, they managed to find the Zeus. Winter's Curse once again, this time onto the Marcy. Only a few Eidolons here, but She is surviving a lot of it for now. Going to turn around, see if they can bring down some of these birds. And the resummon instead is Bristleback. He's got the Ags. This is their timing. If they can play around it, they can stick onto these heroes. Jump forward. They will be able to finish off the Visage here. Just a couple more auto attacks. And now they're grouping up around what is probably their biggest timing, right? This Bristleback Aghanim Scepter.
Yep, and they're just going to use it to force down the Roche, I think. It's, again, the rotation you make. We saw yesterday with the cut. It's just what you do on Bristle. This is just your free play. It's akin to getting a Deso on TA, where you can't really do too much to contest. And they also know the curse is off the table. Kara can't really do too much to stop this. I think if they did go for a play right now, it'd be way too big of a gamble. And Dismar's kind of angling like he wants to go, but I feel like they just should be happy with maybe the support kills here. They would be very happy with the Tavo
They get
kill.
Tavo. That's a big one. They got him indeed. Okay, so they're managing to find some scraps here. I mean, maybe a little bit more than scraps in return for the Aegis, but they don't get it for free on Wolf Team.
Yeah, definitely got punished, just stuck around a little bit too long. I feel like now they should be able to turn this mid-tier 1 into something and actually they're looking for the first life. Okay.
Bristle is pretty hard to bring down, but they're going to manage to do it, I think. Yeah, big Starbreaker there onto 2. Marcy's dead. That's going to be the Aegis. They have a Doom to follow it up, but he is so deep. They're going to focus on the mid-tier 1 tower instead. Grab that and back on out. Honestly, Dawnbreaker is getting scary, dude. If she gets this shard completed, like by their next big fight, which she should, that is going to be like a huge timing for this hero. Just no way to really stop her from just dishing out the damage.
Yeah, no, both teams are kind of hitting their stride here. That's why the clash is happening. They know Tavo's here.
In. They just guessed. They're like, they saw him walk in there a little bit ago. Maybe he's still there. They knew the Vlad's orb. Oh, but the drop of the bird again. It's so frustrating to play with. For those of you that don't know, the way that the mechanic works is as long as the Visage itself is not stunned and silenced, the birds can still be stone formed off of the Visage hero, even through Black Hole, through Winter's Curse, through Chronosphere, literally everything.
It's just so
it makes no sense to me. This has been one of those things that I thought was like definitely a bug like 6 years ago, and it's just never been changed. I don't know why. Bottom lane, they're gonna get a nice little Doom off here, but Benjaz with his own stone form biding his time, and in comes the Dawnbreaker. It's time to run, baby. Dad comes in, big Starbreaker, finishing off that Bristleback. Now to an extension to KJ, and they get him too. This is the dude. This Gravekeeper's Cloak drop is so good. This game.
No, it's one of the best shards in the game. Period. I think.
Yeah,
it's just Ghost Scepter, but better, but more than Ghost Scepter because you take 0 damage from it.
You're untargetable. Yeah, you're literally invulnerable, untargetable.
Just Shadow
instant
Realm,
cast. Yeah, instant cast, right? No cast point or anything. You're just boop. 35% of my health back. Don't worry about it.
And with that, I mean, you kill the Bristle again. You're really looking for your BKB timings now on both your Enigma and your Bristle to look for that next big team fight. But with the way Wolf Team are playing, they are not happy with just taking a loss. They want to instead go for these fights. I feel like they could just turtle up maybe a little bit more and then look for that next timing, but I don't know. The smoke feels a little bit forced here from them, and maybe they find the Doom, but they're just going to walk away, and then now they're up the river, and I'm just afraid that Ravens are going to find another counter initiation because Kara's just been so sick with it. I don't know. This is a really sketchy spot to stand in.
So, one thing I was wondering is the Gravekeeper's Cloak doesn't have like the duration on the tooltip. I want to say it's 4 seconds, but I actually don't know because it's not listed anywhere in the tooltip. Of course not.
I think 4 seconds is pretty accurate. Well, layer recovery time, right? I think it's 6543.
Is it? Where does it say that? Layer recovery time? I mean, you think it's tied to the layer recovery time?
I think so.
Yeah, who knows? Just it's a beta game. It's hard to tell.
They do just immediately get dewarded though. So that smoke to push up forward has really only resulted in this one kind of small mid ward that they were able to place in that time. But you know, this is where you lost your first Aegis so quickly that you're really in an awkward spot where Ravens can now pause the game and just kind of farm up all these luxury items, and you look at their queues. I mean, you've got Blink Shard on the Dawnbreaker. You're looking at items like AC. You're looking at Silver Edge. Like, it only gets better for Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And if
This
Wolf
is
Team, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I was like, this is the point where like Dawnbreaker definitely takes over as the end all be all carry of this game. Like there is not any chance this Bristleback will be able to keep up with her in terms of damage output. But,
And then it's like, well, the only thing you can do is hope to have an AC in time to deal with it. But when you have to go for this BKB so reactively, it's where you would have hoped your Aegis would have been your replacement BKB. Because now you just straight up can't fight. And they're running.
Oh man, I do really like Dad's build this game. The fact that he went for the Blink Dagger first before that BKB after the shard, I think that just gives you so much more aggression to play with. And we'll see it right here in the bottom lane. Like these Eidolons, they're just food. Obviously, he's looking for Tavo. If he happens to get vision of him, he is just playing nice and slow. Ooh, he's got him for a moment. The question is, will he go for it?
He's got to be very patient. He knows that if the Witch Doctor can somehow connect here, he does just straight up die to Black Hole. And ooh, I don't think Tavo saw that. But I think he is just going to go for the farm instead, clear out these trees. But because he is down here, this top push is not coming as quickly as they might have liked. But this is also Ravens playing in 3 lanes, farming pretty much everything right now. They're very happy.
Classic Dawnbreaker, right? You just have Solar Guardian threat across the whole map, so you don't have to like put yourself with your team the whole time. Bottom lane, I guess the Enigma ends up dying anyway, and KJ goes down as well. I mean, Enigma, I'm assuming, just got 100 to 0 off a single Starbreaker. That is exactly what happens.
Yeah, he just showed for a second.
Oh,
he dies.
no.
They get the kill on the other side of the map as well. And now all you can do if you're this Marcy is just try to rush and push out that top lane before it's kind of too late here. But so you went from winning and farming all 3 lanes to now getting 2 pickoffs into farming even more of the 3 lanes. I mean, Wolf Team just don't really have a threat right now.
Dude, this is going to be a very, very difficult game for Wolf Team to try and bounce back into. Like, the Zeus does not have the damage output to carry this alone. Like, Zeus does a lot of damage, but he's also, like, not going to be able to just, like, stop the Dawnbreaker from killing heroes on his team. It's going to have to be some ridiculous high ground defense here or overextension from Ravens to try and pull themselves back into it.
Yeah, I think it really just comes back to a lot of their draft really being passive. Because if you think about it, if you can't afford to just simply blink Black Hole or Core on Raven's team, then you need somebody else to create that same threat. And if that's not coming from your carrier mid, then you better hope your Marcy snowballing out of control. But King RD, maybe once he has his BKB, he can actually force Nengo Flow into that scared BKB pop. But aside from that, there's really nothing to be scared of. All the farm in the world, all the Midases, all the ancient creeps isn't going to magically turn this Bristle and this Zeus into a hero that just straight up blink kills you. It's just not in the cards for those choices. And they're sticking around here, playing around their vision, but this is very scary. And yeah,
Doom comes out, and the BKB obviously protecting him the whole time. Marcy just gets blown apart. The Dawnbreaker coming to join the fight and see if she can find anyone else. She has a blink, finishes off KJ there with a Starbreaker. 3 quick kills for the side of Ravens, and right outside the base with the lanes pushed in. I mean, this is go time, man. They jump in for more. They find the Enigma. Of course, big damage coming out from that Zeus as they just blow up the Doom. They force the buyback as well.
And now we're back. Yeah, that was a little bit crazy from Dismar. And you did get a buyback, right? But it was a little bit too insane for my taste. But hopefully they don't get and lose all of their wards here. But they didn't even place too many wards from before. They're honestly kind of just happy to retreat back to what was their previous laning situation. Because really, it is still Wolf Team's turn. And they will start to do a little bit of a smoke here. But again, unless Tavo finds something, I don't know. They don't really have that much gas in the tank. And again, King RD doesn't have his BKB yet.
Yeah, it's difficult fight to initiate, obviously, especially now that Wyvern has a Blink Dagger. If it's not the hero that you get the jump on, Kara can always try and reset these engagements. And they're going to find this engagement as Tavo comes in, goes to Black Hole, and instant Winter's Curse. We were talking about it. Enigma just going to get melted here as they also lose the Marcy on the side of the fight. The BKB popped out from the Bristleback. He wants to find his target to stay on, but the BKB in return from the Lina and Benjas, he stone forms and Golden Praise, just 100% health refill. Right back into the fight. Dad blinks forward. Big Starbreaker right onto the Zeus. He's gone. They get a fourth onto the side, and now it's just the Bristleback running for the hills. He might be able to make it. He's a quick hero, but the break from the Lina. Goodbye.
Blinking
one. Nice dodge. He goes south. Smart play there from the Bristle, at least to try and survive that one, but a big win once again from Ravens. They take down 4 heroes. They lose absolutely nothing. Unfortunately for them, Roche not alive, but they're still controlling so much of the map.
Yeah, that's the one thing not going for them, is not getting the absolute earliest timer. But yeah, I don't know where Tavo gets the confidence to go for that black hole. Maybe it's just him being really confident that Ward sees absolutely everything, but Kara is just playing too well. He's not giving you those openings, and you just simply don't have enough farm to counter out that hero right now. And now it's just a matter of Ravens now taking this tier 2, maintaining control of the outpost, probably placing one high ground ward, and then they're going to take an Aegis away from Wolf Team's lineup, a lineup that desperately needs the Aegis just for the Bristleback to play Dota. I don't know. The game's not over, but it feels like all they can do is sit inside their base at this point.
Dude, the level 20 power spike on this talent from Dawnbreaker is like, I think heavily like undervalued. Like, it is so strong. It may not seem like much, like, oh, it's just one attack less, but what that means is it guarantees Starbreaker crits every single time you cast it. And that's a big deal.
Not to mention, like, nothing to scoff at, but Soul Guardian Radius doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't sound the same.
Oh, no,
I feel like...
I'm not saying in comparison to the other one. It just, like, I think people underestimate how much damage that extra, like, -1 attack actually is for Dawnbreaker.
No, for sure. And you just finished up a full Scotty on Nengo Flow. He's probably going to swipe the shard here as well. Very fun to see right-click Lina kind of do its thing. Even though I think the other type of Lina is also pretty sick. We just get the Ags and an Octarine. Yeah, you get the 20 ton as well.
Sick. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I've seen a couple people play it, and yeah, it looked good.
I think Flame Cloak is still kind of a meme. The uptime is still terrible. It's still a 25-second cooldown for a 6-second duration, but all the other parts of it are just so nice. Uh-oh, KJ.
Yeah, KJ in a little bit of trouble here. Good old switcheroo here to bide his time, but easy pickup nonetheless for the side of Ravens. And now with this, they're looking for... Did he just get level 18? He did. So that's going to be the level 3 familiars coming out from the Visage now. Do you remember when, like, Visage used to have, like, the birds that did, like, 0 damage, but...
Oh, yes.
But, like, had, like, 100 bonus damage, and it lost, like, damage per attack or something?
Charge-based birds that also worked with all auras in the game. Yeah, that was Drow Visage.
I hated that, man. That was like the worst time to be to like play Dota. It was terrible. Well, lots of auras come out trying to defend this mid lane and barracks. Go ahead and pull the Lina in, but of course he's got the Aegis. I don't think he cares all that much if he gives up his first life here. A lot committed. Multiple BKBs. Tavo, he's got the Black Hole and the BKB, but of course the Winter's Curse will just make it so difficult for them to fight around. Almost takes down the Marcy there with the Laguna Blade, but ends up backing out instead.
Yeah, they weren't really able to find an opening there with Bismarck. He didn't find the target that he wanted, so they just decided to walk away instead. And with how far up the Lina was, he did have to just BKB straight away. Didn't want to risk getting pulled back any further by the Marcy, but I mean, base defended. Of course, now you have to concede the rest of the map for a little bit here while your BKBs reset on the Wolf team side, but that was honestly not the worst thing that could have happened for them.
Yeah, not at all. We're going to see Dad queue up the Abyssal Blade, closing in on it here pretty soon. But of course, just farming, right? Like, this is the one thing that makes this Dawnbreaker such a strong hero, is the fact that you can just play so far on the other side of the map and not have to worry about, you know, not showing up for a team fight. You can always just ulti on in.
Yeah, no, it's Just the same idea as boots of travel, right? You just are always there. You can always have an impact, and I mean, better boots of travel because you could just immediately be into a team fight. Don't even have to worry about the crew plays. But
Well, it's
that's
bots
where they
too,
do have
basically,
this
right?
choke. Yeah, effectively. Oh, bots too that also heals you for what, 600, 700 HP. You know,
Yeah, it
not
does
too bad.
damage. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Good ability.
But
I
they
like,
traded
unironically, I do
away.
think Solar Guardian is one of the coolest new abilities in Dota. It is super
Oh,
sick.
and there go your melee racks. His wolf team just literally walked away from their base for a second there, and Visage did it by himself. I mean, it's what you sometimes call quiet play, but there you go. Not too hard.
Doom's looking around in the top lane, seeing what he can find, and King RD gonna experience firsthand what this Doom can do. He's gonna be forced that BKB, but there's the Abyssal Blade from Dad and the Starbreaker to finish him off. That's obviously the Abyssal reveal. We saw him queuing that one up a little bit ago, but just now completing it. Going back for the Bloodthorn and the Overwhelming Blink. Already has that Mage Slayer, right? And this is what we've seen a lot out of the Echo Saber builds, right? Is just the disassemble into like BKB Mage Slayer or something along those lines. It's been pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And it just makes sense, especially, it always coincides with that 20 talent that we've already talked about, where you don't really need the Echo Saber all too much. It almost is excessive at that point, but
Yeah.
that's also where, back bottom, they got the D wards. Oh, HFN!
Oh man,
Oh, no.
Zeus thought he could TP on home, but he thought wrong. His dog just get bonked, dude. I don't know. 1800 damage crit to the dome. Dismar in the base now, chasing after the Enigma. I mean, he's got a Doom if he wants to use it. He forces the BKB out on Tavo, but I guess don't want to commit onto that hero with the Doom.
And this is almost a worse situation.
He does have buyback, I suppose, so.
Yeah, but now you don't have Black Hole, so of course you don't have a Lincoln, so you would have had to deal with Curse anyway, but...
Oh boy, that is a lot of damage. There's going to be the Abyssal, the BKB, not there, but he does have the buyback. Winter's Curse is down as well.
Now.
Dismar, he already drops the Doom as well. Tavo, like you said, yeah, he can drop this Black Hole now if he finds himself a target, but who's it going to be? It's just Dad comes in again and claps him right onto the head. Once again, the Dawnbreaker just doing way too much damage, and that is an ultra kill for Nango Flow and a GG coming out in the end. 36,000 net worth advantage. This game snowballed out of control.
Yeah, they just never really took a step back and I think finished a lot of those BKBs that would have made this game, I think, a whole lot more playable. They just kind of let their advantage slip through their fingers, and I think losing that first Aegis so convincingly was really kind of the first step in the wrong direction. And then after that, it just felt like they were kind of Ravens playthings. And of course, Kara is the standout here. I think mechanically, he's the one that just kind of ruined every play from Wolf Team for the first 15 minutes of this game. Everything, it was just call and response. It was King RD going for a dive. It was a Maledict landing, just simply followed by a Cold Embrace at the right time. Just perfect positioning from Kara. And then every single curse to either ruin HFN or Tavo's plans. It just did not feel proper. And then when you're not playing with the lead with this lineup from Wolf Team, you have to kind of bank on the initiation from King RD. You can't really trust Tavo because his hero just got straight up counterpicked. I mean, this was such an early Enigma that just didn't get covered. And then Kara's just playing too well on top of all of it. Just became a snowball of a problem, and they just couldn't fix it in time.
Yeah, man, it feels super rough. Like in the early game here for Wolf Team, they had a pretty decent start, but yeah, I agree, man. Kara, absolute. It's hard to say that he was the MVP with like what we saw in the late game. Like obviously Nango Flow and Dad actually just having like a really solid performance, but I feel like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Kara, like you said, absolutely stomping Wolf Team in this early game when they had like their kind of item timings and they start to try and make these plays happen. So really good performance from Ravens all around. This is just game one of this best of two. So we're going to go to a short break, everyone, and we'll be back with the second game of this series. We'll see you in just a bit.